What's going on, people? It's your YB back once again. So, we got some more leaked quotes from Alexander. Very nice, I like it. I can smudge. Usyk. Here we go. Alexander, I like. Usyk questioned whether or not his repeated message to Tyson, Fury, aka Luke McGuinness, before their fight, "Don't be afraid, I will not leave you alone," was a warning about his aggressive tactics. Usyk responds, "Yes, very correct. And the second fight, Tyson, don't be afraid, I will not leave you alone, never." Oh, so we've got the leaked strategy from Alexander Usyk, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you, man, right now. Let's have a look right now. Usyk, Fury, Betfair. Now, I ain't advised none of you, man, to start gambling, yeah, but definitely don't. 100%. I was about to say, unless you've got it to lose, don't gamble. But I ain't got it to lose, and I'm gambling, so it's one of them. You man are grown folk in the day. We all grown here, so you know what I mean. If you got 100%, if you want stress from the missus because you blew the rent, then that's what we. So, sometimes it's got to go down that way, right? Sometimes it's just the way it goes, people. Yeah. End of the day, the rent's the rent, right? The rent's the rent. There'll be another people. What we know for a fact is, how many times, I was telling Michelle this, how many times do we get to see Fury versus Usyk? What, once in a blue moon? How many times do we get to see Undisputed? What, once a decade? Right? So, you have to put it in perspective. There'll be rent to pay every month. Do you understand? The rent's going to be due next month and the month after. So why are we stressing about the rent when we have an event here that's once in a lifetime or once in a decade? That's how you got to think with gambling, people. Yeah? Do I really need this £100 from the rent when the rent will still be due the next month? Right? Do you understand, people? If we're a little bit short this month, the next month it will still be, it's not going nowhere, right? The rent being due ain't going nowhere. This fight is, though. Yeah? That's not going to be there after December 21st. So you got to think smart, people, when it comes to the gambling. You man be playing too much. You're not thinking right. Why we put you on? Anyway, let's have a look at the odds here. Here we go. So, you put a tenner on Usyk, you get £7.40 profit back. You put a tenner on Tyson, Fury, you get £14.80 profit back. So, you put a wanner on, you put a bill, you put $100 on Usyk, you get £74 back profit. That's a 74% return, people. How many investments do you know generate 74% returns in an hour? Oops. Yeah, because this cat, Mr. Benidorm, expat, come on. His chin is finished. That's what we know for a damn fact. People keep saying, YB, you say everyone's this. They are. Unfortunately, tell me a time I've been wrong in that sense. I told you, I'm sorry, I got sucked into people. Did the media circus suck me in? It did. But the facts didn't change. Tyson's defense is leaky. His chin is shot. His legs are shot. He's lazy. And now, before, he might have one of them things. Before he couldn't punch, his chin was crap, he's slow, or whatever. But now, he don't even want to fight. Before, his willingness to fight would get him through. His willingness to fight got him through the Wilder 1 fight. His willingness to fight got him through the Wilder 3 fight. Not to mention the fact he's fighting a basketball player. But still, there was fighting there. And really, I remember watching the Wilder 3 fight back, and there was a point, Fury gets put down, and he looks a bit like it was looking like it was becoming a bit of a chore. When you watch that Wilder 1 fight, Fury gets off the mat and he's engaged. That Wilder 3 fight, when Fury goes down, he's like looking around like, do I really need this? Now, fair play to him. He got up and had a go, but eventually, as is well documented, the fighters with the biggest heart, at some point, naturally, whether it's the money or just that you're getting a bit long in the tooth, we know a 20-year-old man in general is more aggressive than a 35, 40-year-old man. Just how it goes. Yeah, there'll be exceptions. There might be some 40-year-old who's completely geeked up. in the main, the body of the curve, 40-year-olds, 35-year-olds are finished. Yeah? So Tyson's getting long in the tooth now. His chin was never all that anyway. He was never a fighter like that in terms of actual fighting skills. Even when I watched him go back, I watched him punching up Cunningham. He's not a fighter like that. He's not like a Canelo or Golovkin, someone who's going to actually sit there, hands up, and work away. He's a slapper. What would you call him? You could never call Tyson Fury a boxer puncher. You'd have to call him a boxer slapper. Because even when he comes forward with Wilder in the second fight, he's still slapping his shots and pumping forward with his forearm or his palm. It's all kind of slappy. You never see Fury digging too much. Anyway, the reason I say that is, what intrinsic value does Tyson Fury have over Usyk? What factor can, let's think about FIFA scores. What factor can you sit there and say, hey YB, you're wrong. Fury has this over Usyk. He doesn't have the chin. He doesn't have the fighting heart. He doesn't have the power, I'm afraid. All he has at this point is, 40 pounds in weight and 5 inches of reach. The problem with that is, though, having 40 pounds in weight is all well and good if, number one, you're using it to punch, which Fury can't. He can't punch. Or, using the weight to punch, or you're using it to some sort of effect. Now, Fury tried the whole running thing. How'd it work for him? In fact, he lost every round he was running. The only bits he won was when he come forward a bit. So, the element of him being longer, that's not going to work. He tried that already. Tyson Fury tried being long and big and tall. That did not work for him. So now he's got to try and work shorter, but he's never been that guy who can work up close. Never. Even when he's jumping on Wilder, that's only because Wilder's walking backwards. Yeah? If Wilder could actually box or fight a bit and lent into Fury and stayed tight and was banging away, Fury would have no ideas. Fury's good. If Fury can throw a 1-2, yeah, or if Fury can throw a feint 1-2 and get you backing up like this, he'll look good, decent. If you post up there though when he's throwing in big gangly shots in and stay tight, he ain't gonna have no ideas, because Fury ain't an inside fight like that. You've never seen Fury stand toe to toe with someone and just be winging off like that. You haven't. You've never seen that in your life, and you ain't gonna see it either. So the myth is, well, YB is gonna come back and do more of rounds 5 and 6. And I said a while ago, even though Usyk said today that he's going to be all over Fury again, I actually wouldn't mind seeing Usyk just box this guy. I think actually Usyk was kind of fighting outside of his class. Yeah, let's think about fighters as in their own classes. So you've got boxers, you've got punchers, you've got boxer punchers, you've got whatever else you've got. Usyk is an out-and-out, all-round boxer. He's not the most powerful. He's not a complete fannier, as he proved in the Fury fight in particular, but also even the AJ fights. He's not a complete... Someone like, I don't know, let's think of someone. Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders is an out-and-out faffer. You will never see him press someone, ever. He could be in there with a bum with one leg who's about to be knocked out. He'd still be trying to win the fight on point. So someone like that. Usyk's not a complete outboxer. I'd say he's literally a well-rounded, ticks all boxes. Usyk's like 80 plus in every department. Yeah? So I wouldn't mind seeing him play more to his strength. Usyk fought, like a more or less a pressure fighter. A pressure fighter puncher. Literally he's coming in and having a go. I'm just not sure he needs to do that. I think he can make it easier for himself. And my advice to him would be, don't rush. I feel like Usyk was, to be fair, he popped Fury right in his mouth in round 1. Popped him right here and Fury's eyes was twist. So what do I know? But Fury, strategically, Usyk had his, like he always does, has his best half, the last half. These heavyweights never do that. When was the last heavyweight you saw have their best half, the last half? Most heavyweights are clinging on for dear life, blowing out their ass. And Tyson Fury is no exception. Tyson Fury had some speed for the first 6 rounds. Them last 6, he was so slow. So I'd like to see Usyk actually go in there, box a bit, let Fury blow his load, Keep Fury thinking, keep Fury overfiring, and then by round 7 or round 8, Fury is going to be hanging. Absolutely hanging and gasping and slow. The problem with the first fight was Usyk was doing something outside of his comfort zone, I'd say. So he used more energy than he normally would, which meant that his back half wasn't as emphatic. Yes, he had round 9, but the follow-up, I think Usyk slowed down a lot himself. He ended up very tired, and it was kind of, Fury dropped off here, but so did Usyk. Normally Usyk, he gets to round 6 and he's just about found his pace, and he's just about to start going from throwing 60 punches around to 80. He's literally just starting to ping your head off. So that's what I'd like to see. We know Tyson Fury is going to be in Benidorm until like November 15th, 5 weeks out. Why go in there? Fury's, especially when you're taller and bigger, if you've got someone coming at you with their hands up, you can just get little shots off, like we saw with Fury round 5 and 6. You can get them off. You got someone coming at you. It's a lot harder for a big man, if the little man making you work for it. And Usyk's got the skills. He's been going in there with big dudes, right? It's not like it'd be the first time. Get Fury, you having to step in, take some risk. If you're always in front of him, inevitably Fury will get off some cool moves where he slaps you to the body and spins off. If you're coming in with your hand stuck to your head, just wading in, like Usyk was, inevitably. Why let him in that? Why let him in there like that? Let him box for it. Let Fury work for them shots, because Fury didn't really. If you notice, there was no build up to Fury landing them shots in the 5 and 6. That's because Usyk was coming straight at him. But normally, to get them for Fury to get off a 3-punch combination on Usyk wouldn't be standing there with his hands up here on his head, just taking the shots. Normally, to get a 3-punch combination on Usyk, I'm not sure I've really seen it so much at heavyweight. You've got to work hard for it though. Why? Because he ain't going to be standing there right in front of you with his feet a bit flat, and he's not going to be there to get teed off on. He's going to be slapping you in the mouth, fainting you to death, and then backing off. And you're going to be like, Fury's going to be standing there like, oh God. Right? So I wouldn't mind seeing Usyk at least, maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't mind seeing Usyk at least do that. Usyk knows he can go in there, and just stick it all over Fury. So my argument is, what's the rush to do that? Usyk has other tools that Fury doesn't, if that makes sense. Usyk has 2 ways. He's proven he can just stick it on Fury. There's a chance he can make it even easier for himself though, and potentially get knockout. If Usyk can win like the first 3 rounds, or 3 of his first 6 rounds, and then in round 7 and 8 and 9, Fury's gassed, and Usyk's just getting started, Fury get knocked out, pummeled to death, right? So I don't see the advantage of, number one, you're telling Fury what you're doing, which I respect. Like that's what I was talking about AJ the other day. AJ was saying, the fans want to see me be dominant. You don't hear Usyk saying, the fans want to see me be dominant. You hear Usyk saying, I'm going to be on your ass. That's what I want to do. I'm not interested in what the fans want to do. I want to be all over you like a rash, like you stole something. Do you understand? So I respect that, but I want to see Fury lose ultimately. And I'm not sure it's the best way to go about it. Fury's only chance is that Usyk's in there. Inevitably, even if you've got your hand stuck to your head, inevitably, you're going to get caught at some point. Now, I don't think Fury's got the power to do nothing with Usyk. So it's one of them. I don't think Fury's going to win. I hate to break it, I just don't think I can't see how he wins. I really can't. You can say about how old rounds 5 and 6, but out of 10 rounds, to have 2 or 3 good rounds, what do you want, a medal? Meanwhile, you almost got knocked out and the federal authorities had to save your ass against a man in Usyk who ain't never been a punch like that. And that shows you how much Fury's chops has deteriorated. The brandy, the whiskey, the trips to Benidorm, the not training, the eating. All these factors, your chin's even more diminished now. We've never seen Fury out on his feet like that. Normally he gets clipped, goes down and gets straight back up. This time he was just knocked for 6. Usyk knocked him for 6. So there's going to be another 6 months of degradation. Another 6 months of whiskey, acidic whiskey, just boiling away at his nerve endings and his chops. Another 6 months of being in Benidorm, the sun just cooking him. You know that man don't wear sun cream. So all them UV rays are going to be knocking out his knocking out his DNA and making it all mutated and whatnot. But you already saw round 1. Usyk popped him right in his mouth and his eyes have twisted. So I really am struggling to see what Fury's going to do in this rematch, and I hope that isn't a curse for Usyk. I really do. Hope it's not a curse. I just don't believe it. I don't see one element. Yeah, one element. Fury doesn't have the legs. I watched the Vlad fight back. He's not good enough to outbox Usyk. He's not. He wasn't in that emphatic against Vlad, and Vlad was just standing there. Usyk has never just stood there. He will be slapping you back in your mouth, for sure. Usyk ain't no Vlad, who's going to stand there and be like, oh, like a big ogre who's lost. Right? So Fury's never going to outbox Usyk like that. He's not. Fury's never going to pressure fight Usyk like that either. Fury ain't going to come forward with his hands stuck to his head and start winging away. He's not going to do it. When's he done that before? Oh, what, the basketball player throwing straight shots? Come on. Slapping his straight shots. Come on, bro. Stop. So, every single attribute, apart from the weight, which he had the first fight, and if anything, it makes him slower and more tired, it damn sure don't add to the power. So yeah, I'm Usyk all day, people. I'm Usyk all day on this one, and I will be putting some coin up, one way or another, on this one, because I don't see it. This guy finished. He's proper now he's proper finished. That's for sure. And he ain't even bothered about being finished. He's there for the bag now. Anyway, Usyk, you're gonna be all over him, and I think Tyson Fury is gonna be having nightmares. He's gonna be sitting there sweating. I mean, Benidorm's hot anyway, but he's gonna be sitting there with the aircon on in his room, seeing these quotes and be sweating, thinking, "Oh my god." I was hoping that this guy was gonna follow the YB's advice and start boxing with me. Oh no, he's coming straight for me. And Fury shit himself, people. If we're honest, I couldn't believe it when I watched it. In that round one, the bell went, Fury came running out to the centre, and then his butt twitched and went straight back to the ropes. I thought, what the fuck? I was pissed. This guy told me he was going to put it straight on the little gap tooth rabbit with an earring in. Yeah? And now you're on the ropes somewhere. No. Pissed me off. Then you get clipped and his eyes are like, beep. Eyes are twisted, man. Now you can't bet on this guy. You're going to lose it. People, you bet on Tyson Fury, you're going to lose the bag. Now, last thing I'll say on this is, I am going to wait to put money on, because the Tyson Fury homosexuals, yeah? The Tyson Fury homosexuals, when a day before, or normally the hours before the fight, they are going to go big. I remember Fabio Wardley versus Nathan Gorman. Nathan Gorman's Tyson Fury's cousin, but he's nowhere near as known as Tyson Fury. He's like the E-level Tyson Fury. And that fight, the odds before fight week were like, what would you call it? Probably like 3-1 for Gorman to win. And on the night, no joke, it got us close to 1-1. So it went from like a 75-25 fight to a 50-50 fight, because all the bare knuckles came on, putting their tarmacking money down, and it pumped the odds up, where the fight was almost 50-50, and Tyson Fury is a much bigger entity. So if the fight now even is not that far off 50-50, if you can put a tenner on and get £7.50 back, you ain't far off. So this will probably go to 1.85 or 1.9. So literally, it's a 50-50 fight. That's what I'm going to wait for. 10 minutes before the fight's on, Fury would have pumped the odds to Kingdom Come, or the Fury homosexuals will pump the odds, and that's when the YB can jump in and get put on. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. People, smash the like button, subscribe. What do you think Usyk should do? No doubt about it. Stop it.